do rise today, and echoing much of what my colleagues have said with deep concern over the measure before us. And regrettably, I must urge opposition of the legislation before us. There's not enough time in the day to actually go through all the deeply problematic provisions in the bill, but I would like to mention a few in my the few minutes I've got allotted here. First, this bill proposes a $143.5 million cut to the Economic Development Administration, a move that would severely undermine regional economic growth, weaken local manufacturing ecosystems, and stifle job creation. And these are not just abstract numbers. They are lost opportunities for communities such as mine in Rochester, New York. When we shortchange investment at home, we hand our global competitors, particularly the Chinese government, an advantage which they will certainly seize. The bill slashes $2 billion from the National Science Foundation, threatening the very foundation of American innovation. This cut will decimate research grants, STEM training, and discourage early career scientists and delay the breakthroughs that fuel our future industries. If we fail to invest in the next generation of scientists, we risk losing our edge in a fiercely competitive global economy, and that's a theme that is recurring throughout this bill. The $1.3 billion cut to NASA's Science Mission Directorate is no less alarming. These reductions will delay key scientific missions, disrupt our high-tech workforce, and cede American leadership in space exploration, particularly, again, to the Chinese government. They also jeopardize critical efforts in climate monitoring, planetary defense, and the development of cutting-edge technologies that bolster our economy. Adding to this instability is the fact that NASA currently lacks a Senate-confirmed administrator. At a moment of intensifying international competition, this absence of steady leadership places high-stakes programs at greater risk, and sadly, during our appropriations hearings, we did not hear from NASA to present its argument for its appropriations. Compounding these concerns are troubling cuts made to key public safety initiatives. Critical law enforcement agencies like the ATF and FBI are being asked to do more with much less. The FBI's budget is cut by an astonishing $368 million, and the ATF is cut by $418 million. During a time when my colleagues on the other side of the aisle repeatedly claim to care about public safety, there is no question these cuts undermine our ability to enforce gun laws, investigate violent crime, and protect our communities. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention a few of the egregious policy riders included in the bill, like preventing the ATF from regulating ghost guns, which have flooded into states like New York from states without strong laws, and weaken ATF's ability to combat firearms trafficking. America is awash with gun violence, and instead of allowing ATF to use its lawful authority to issue regulations to prevent gun crime, which Congress has authorized them to do, the majority is intent on preventing them from using any money to carry out the mission. Lastly, while the Department of Justice received an overall 1% increase in funding, I rise with serious concerns about how this funding is being stewarded. In addition to outrageous actions like destroying the department's voting rights section, which works to enforce the Voting Rights Act, and the public integrity section, which literally investigates political corruption, a disturbing pattern has emerged at the Justice Department. Since the president's return to the White House, over 330 lawsuits have been filed against his administration. 35% of those cases where courts have issued substantive rulings, DOJ attorneys have been accused of outright defiance, ignoring court orders, falsifying information, withholding evidence, and quietly circumventing judicial oversight. It is disgraceful. The president is unilaterally dismantling the independence of the DOJ. From hiring his own criminal defense attorneys as top legal officers to using the top federal law enforcement agency as a tool for political retribution, the president is treating the DOJ as his own personal law firm, shifting the mission of the Department of Justice from serving the American people to serving just one individual. As appropriators, we wield the power of the purse. It is not only our right, but our responsibility to ensure federal funds are used not to subvert the judiciary or undermine democratic institutions. So, in good conscience, I cannot pretend like this is business as usual. My foundational pillars of the rule of law are under siege from within. I urge defeat of the bill, and I yield back.